New York City, step off the curb, one of those little taxis is coming. You got to worry. They don't stop like California. But now you can't let worry loose like a mad dog loose in the house, drive you into a small corner. Here's what you got to do with your worries. Drive them into a small corner. Whatever's out to get you, you got to get it. Whatever's pushing on you, you got to push back. Guess where illness is in your life right now? Testing the outer edges of your health plan, looking for a weak spot. And if illness can find a weak spot, it'll muscle in and take the territory. Unless you've got enough discipline and power to say, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to fight illness like an enemy. I'll do enough push-ups to destroy illness. And if you don't do the push-ups and you don't get a book on nutrition and you don't take care of your good health, illness says, we'll soon have this clown. Do battle with your enemy. These opposites are in conflict and we're caught in the middle. Darkness and light, liberty and tyranny, illness and health, success and failure, death and life, good and evil. Next is overcaution, the timid approach to life. Timidity is not a virtue. It's an illness. And if you let it go and go and go, it'll conquer you. Leave you without a promotion. Timid people don't get promoted. They don't advance and grow and become powerful in the marketplace. Not timidity. And it is possible to conquer it. Don't let your illness conquer you. Don't let your shyness conquer you. Don't let your worries conquer you. They're your enemy. Take sword to your enemies. Drive them into as small and manageable a corner as you possibly can so that you can flourish in the rest of the house. The next one is pessimism. Pessimism is the enemy of us all. You've got to educate your own pessimism. Tendency to pessimism. To the pessimist, the glass is what? Half empty. But here's also what pessimism will try to get you to believe. It's only half empty. You've got to say, well, pessimism, that's ignorant. It's not only half empty, it's also what? Half full. Don't let your pessimism try to get you to believe something is only. It isn't only. Somebody says, well, I'm so positive I only see it half full. Well, it's also half empty. Can't you handle that? That's going to ruin your day and ruin your future. Guy says, well, I don't let people talk negative around me. Well, we'll put you in some freaky colony. Come on, can't you handle a little negative talk? Can't you handle a little truth? Can't you handle a little tragedy around you? Yes, of course. Come on. Walk out of first grade, second grade. Don't let your life become shallow, saying, oh, no negative stuff around me. That's silly. Become mature. Become powerful. But then don't let pessimism trick you into saying it's only one way. It isn't only one way. It is also half full. But it's not only half full. It is half empty. Here's the last one, complaining. There's room for legitimate complaint. But if you let this one loose, it'll conquer you. Complaining take over your life, destroy you and leave you without anything. Nobody wants to take along a complainer. Nobody wants to promote a complainer. Nobody wants to live with one. Nobody wants to operate with one. Nobody wants to be a partner of one. Nobody wants to have one around. It'll ace you out of more opportunity than you can possibly imagine. Let this disease take over, grab you by the throat. If you don't think this one is bad, ask the children of Israel, of Old Testament fame. Typical of us all, their story just happened to get in the book. Story says, children of Israel were slaves. God performed a series of dazzling miracles and got them out. And now they're heading for the promised land. Remember the story? Heading for the promised land. Tragedy of the story. They never got there. Reason. From day one, they started to gripe. They griped about the food. They just got delivered from slavery, and now they're saying, this food's not all that hot. I mean, give us a break. How much can you take? They whined and cried and griped about the water. In the desert, they got water. But they say, this water doesn't taste that good. I mean, give us a break. They whined and cried and griped about the leadership that delivered them from slavery. Said, this leadership's not all that competent. I mean, give us a break. They whined and cried because it was too hot. It was too cold. It was too far. It was too difficult. It was too rocky. They whined and cried for years. Finally, God said, I've had it. Trip canceled. Over. or something like that. The story says they died in the desert, never got to the promised land after all that trouble. Which I guess means two things. One, indulge in this complaining long enough, you'll get your future canceled. Future promotions, future anything. Nobody wants to be around. And I guess this story also means even God himself can only take so much. Now, that's the negative side. Think negative when it's positive. Learn to hate evil. Love good. Hate tyranny. Love liberty. Learn to love health. Hate sickness. Now here's the last one. This is the positive side of the seminar. Got to get to the positive. Here's some emotions that can change your life in a single day. I call it the day that turns your life around. Let me just give you this list as we wrap up here today. Emotions that can change your life in a single day. Here's the first one, disgust. That's a powerful emotion, disgust. Disgust now is a negative emotion, but it can have a very positive effect. Disgust says, I've had it. What a glorious day that could be. The day you've had it. You say, I've been on my knees for the last time. What a glorious day that could be. Enough is enough. No more. Powerful day. Even if it's a negative day. I met a beautiful, sophisticated, superstar lady in New York. She worked for this jewelry company, very young. Vice president, made big money. This company brought me in to do some training, some seminars, classes. And I met this lady, extraordinary lady. Found out she never went to college, never went to university. I thought, whoa, how'd she get here? So I asked her a little bit about her story. I said, how'd you get here? No college, no university? This is tough New York. Vice president, big money, jewelry business. She said, well, let me tell you part of the story. She said, a few years ago, being a very young mother, she said, one day I asked my husband for $10. And he said, what for? She said, Mr. Rohn, I promised myself before that day was finished, I would never, ever ask again. She said, I started looking for opportunity, found it. Started looking for the skills, the classes, found them. And she said, yes, now I am vice president. Jewelry company. I do make big money. It is tough New York. But that's one of the reasons why I got here. She said, I promise you, Mr. Rohn, from that day until this, I have never, ever asked again. A powerful day. Here's the next one. Decision. What a powerful day that can be, decision making. If you went home today, and in the next few days made a list of decisions that you ought to be making, make the easy ones fast. Set up some time scheduled to learn all that's necessary to learn, make the rest of the decisions. I'm telling you, it could be one of the glorious days of your life, the day you decide. Powerful. Next is desire. Wanting to bad enough. Who can explain how that works? I don't know. All I know is some have got it. Enough desire to last for a lifetime. But here's what I also know. Sometimes desire waits and sleeps, waiting for something to happen. And who knows what the happening may be. Maybe it's the next sermon. Somebody wakes up. Maybe it's the next seminar like this. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a song, the lyrics. Maybe it's a movie, the dialogue. Maybe it's a life experience. Maybe it's the conversation with a friend who finally levels with you. Maybe it's the confrontation from an enemy. Who knows what it might be? Suddenly, desires awaken that can last for a lifetime. Sometimes from the bitterest experience comes the greatest awakening. So here's the clue on desire. Welcome all life experiences. We get into more detail in this in the weekend seminar. Let life touch you. Don't let it kill you, but at least let it touch you. The next touch could open up the well springs you'll never lack for desire for the rest of your life. From shortly after the time I met my teacher, Mr. Shope, at age 25, no one's ever had to say to me all these years, when are you going to get going? Nobody's ever said that to me all these years. I've heard, when are you going to slow down? You're going to have a heart attack and die. You can't keep up this kind of calendar. But nobody's ever said to me, when are you going to get going? I'm asking you to keep searching for life experiences until you find one that lights your fires, until you will never lack for desire for the rest of your life. And nobody will ever have to say to you the rest of your life, when are you going to get off the couch? Clue. Welcome all experiences. Don't put up the walls. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness. Take the risk. And here's the last emotion that can change your life in a single day. It's called resolve. Resolve says, I will. Two of the most powerful words in the language. I gave you the formula for disaster. Could, should, don't. Here's the formula for fortune. Should, could, will. I will. I should. I can, and I will. Two of the most powerful words in the language. I will. Benjamin Disraeli once said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on its purpose. I'll do it or die. What a powerful set of words. The man says, I will climb the mountain. They've told me it's too high, it's too far, it's too difficult, it's too rocky, it's never been done before. The man says, hey, it's my mountain, I'll climb it. Pretty soon you'll see me waving from the top or dead on the side because I ain't coming back. Power. The best definition of resolve I ever got was from a junior high girl, Foster City, California. I love to talk to kids and ask them definitions. They come up with beauty. I got to this word and I said to the kids, who can tell me what resolve means? Some didn't know and some tried. It was interesting. The best one I got was a little girl about 3 rows back. She said, Mr. Rohn, I think I know. I said, what? She said, I think resolve means promising yourself you will never give up. I said, that's the best I've ever heard. You can't say it any better than that. Promise yourself you will never give up. You don't have to promise me. You don't have to promise the world. Just promise yourself. What a great bit of language. She's probably giving seminars somewhere today. That's powerful. I asked the kids, how long should a baby try to learn how to walk? How long would you give your average baby before he shut off? That's enough. No, any mother in the world would say you're silly. My baby's going to keep trying what? Until. What a magic word, until. How many books will you read? Until you find the answers for your good health? Read 1 and quit? Read 2 and quit? Risk a cardiovascular disaster? I can't buy that from you. Wouldn't you read enough books until? Wouldn't you read enough books on financial independence until you become financially independent? Wouldn't you read enough books on leadership until you become a leader? Wouldn't you read enough books on power until you've got the power? Of course, why not? Don't settle for less. Use this little until phrase. I'll do enough exercises until I become healthy. I'm out of breath now, but I'll put myself through enough disciplines until I'm no longer out of breath. I'm not going to walk up one flight of stairs and can't catch my breath. It's over. Until. Magic. The day that turns your life around. And now here's my 4 closing questions, and we're out of here. 4 questions to ponder, I call these, for your notes, and then we're finished. What an exciting day this has been. Looking forward to coming back. I think right to this very room, right, next time. If you can possibly get here, love to have you. Okay, just jot down these 4 questions now, and this wraps up our seminar. We'll get you on your way. Beat the traffic. Here's the first question, why? One of life's most important questions, why? Kids are always saying what? Why? Good question. What an extraordinary time sometimes to teach when someone says why. Don't leave a why go so empty without a substantive answer. Why learn that much? Why read that much? Why try that hard? Why not spend all the money when you're a child? You're only a child once. Why? You got to answer these whys. Why? You got to come up with some whys. Here's what we teach in leadership. When the why gets powerful, the how gets easy. Why? If you come up with enough reasons, you can revolutionize your life. Short on reasons? I'm telling you, you're short on answers. If you get enough reasons, it'll drive you to find the books and find the answers and take the classes and set up the disciplines and do everything that's necessary. If you got enough reasons, that's what the why is, reasons aplenty. Now here's one of the best answers to why. Second question, why not? What else have you got to do while you're here? Why not see how far you can go, how many skills you can develop, how much money you can earn, how much you can share? Why not see how much enterprise you can get involved in, how many sales you can make, how many promotions you can get, how many friends you can make, how valuable you can become to your family? Why not see what all you can do and see all you can see and go wherever you can go and do all the things you can possibly do and live an extraordinary life? Why not? Hey, you got to stay here till you go. I mean, what else are you going to do? Just hang on until the bitter end? Come on. Why not see it all? Why not have it all? Why not do it all? Why not engage as many things as you can possibly can to test all of your possibilities and all of your equities of life and heart and spirit and soul? Why not? Now here's one of the most important questions from me to you, individually if I had a chance, but I have to do it collectively, but I want you to take this individually. I came from my house today and left my family to come spend time with you and your family today to ask you this most important question that's important to me, and here it is, number 3. Why not you? I'm a farm boy from Idaho, raised in obscurity. I was broke at 25 and embarrassed in front of my family. My family knew about the creditor saying, we're going to come get your car. What kind of a father's that? So how did I get here? I'm telling you, I'm asking you, why not you? If I can find this little book, Richest Man in Babylon, can't you find it? If I can read, can't you read? If I can change, can't you change? If I can set up some disciplines and save myself from disaster, can't you? And the answer is yes. Why not you? Does your blood run less hot than mine for ambition? I can't buy that. I'm smart and you're stupid? Can't buy it. I can understand it and you can't understand it? Can't buy it. I got the drive, you don't have the drive? Can't buy it. You wouldn't have been here today. Why not you? Farm boy from Idaho. That's what the American success stories are all about. I wish I had a bigger parade of stories on this platform to come across and tell their story and testimonial besides mine to encourage you, and they would all wind up their stories by saying, why not you? Mother on welfare, now rich beyond imagination. Shouldn't she say, now why not you? I started ill. Why not you? I started sick. Why not you? I started behind and in debt. Why not you? I was in despair. Now I'm walking in the light. Why not you? That's what the American dream stories are all about. Why not you? If one can do it, we all can do it. Wish I had more stories. One of the best I know of, dear friend of mine, Mark Hughes, A Verbal Life. Wow, what a story. My dear friend, Mark Hughes, was raised on the tough side of town in Los Angeles. Got involved with drugs when he was a kid. Managed to escape. Got so interested in helping other kids get off drugs, he became a fundraiser. Even as a kid, he became one of the best. As a teenager, he won all kinds of awards. He still gives a big share of his fortune to helping kids get off drugs. One of his clients back then, Ronald Reagan, who later becomes president of the country. That's a story in itself. This kid, Mark Hughes, never met his father until he was 20 years old. And when he met him, he didn't like him, unfortunately. Never met him again for 9 more years. I was in on after the second time. They decided to at least try to be friends. Now they're good friends. Tough way to grow up. Mark Hughes, the judge had to decide who he was to live with when he was a kid. Not the best of worlds. When he was 18 years old, his mother died from a drug overdose. Not something you want to tell around town. Mark Hughes never went to college, never went to university. He only went to the 9th grade in school, dropped out. But when his mother died, she was trying to lose some weight, lose a few pounds. And she got hooked on the diet drugs. And then she got hooked on the sleeping pills. And then she started seeing 2, 3, 4, 5 doctors, all behind their backs to keep this monstrous habit going. And when she was 36, she's gone. When she died, Mark said, there's got to be a better way to lose a few pounds than to get hooked on the drugs. He said, I'm going to find a way. It's got to be a nutritional way, safe way. So he started studying nutrition. I met him 2, 3 years later, couldn't believe what he knew. This kid. And then he made a big discovery for himself, and that was herbs. He got so fascinated by herbs, he made trips to China as a kid. And finally put a little formula together called Herbal Life. His grandmother was his first customer. He said, Granny, you're fat. You got to get on my new formula here. He's got a better presentation now, but I mean, that was it back then. She said, okay, and she lost some weight and got to feeling good and spread the word and got him some more customers. That started Herbal Life. He started really from the trunk of his car. And he just kept on going, got some other people to help him, did $1 billion in sales. Got so excited about what he accomplished, he did another $1 billion in sales. And then he just kept going, spreading into other countries, and he did another $1 billion in sales. And then he just said, hey, this works pretty good. And he just kept going, and he did another $1 billion in sales. That's what? $4 billion. And he does business in about 18, 20 countries, officially, about 50 unofficially, mega rich beyond anybody's imagination. He's still only 34 years old. Lives in a Beverly Hills mansion, got homes scattered around the world. If he was here to tell his story, guess what he would say? Why not you? Couldn't you find a fat grandmother? Borrow one from the neighborhood. Here's what he would also say. Take full responsibility. Maybe what's happened to you up until now has not been all your fault. But from now on, to solve it, it is your challenge. Take 100% responsibility. Work your way out of it. Mark attended my seminar about 16 years ago, and I recommended to him the little book called The Richest Man of Babylon. Guess what? He went and got it. I'm asking you, don't settle for less. Let the American dream stories inspire you. Start from scratch. Start from nothing. Start from debt. Start from despair. Start from the darkness. I don't care where you are. Ghetto. Mother on welfare. Book by book, you can walk away from anything. Class by class, you can walk away from anything. Apple by apple, you can be as healthy as you can possibly want to be. All you got to do is do not neglect. Pick up these disciplines step by step. Don't let any of them get away from you. Keep track of the numbers, and you can walk away out of the shadows into the light. Let your life become powerful and worthwhile and unique. Have all the equities you could possibly handle for a lifetime, for you and your family, and your treasures, and your enterprises. And I wish that for you. And here's my last comment in closing. If you'll allow me a personal word, here it is. Ask for God's help. That's just my personal word. I don't ask you to buy my philosophy, but we could all use a little help, I think. But hey, you've got to do your part. That's what this partnership is really all about. And that's what I've talked about all day today in this seminar, doing your part, my part. Remember the story about the man who took a rock pile and in a couple of years turned it into a beautiful garden? And a few years later, one man toured the garden, thought it was fabulous, but he wanted to make sure the gardener didn't take all the credit, so when he had a chance to meet him after the tour, he shook his hand and said, Mr. Gardener, you and the good Lord together have this beautiful garden here, right, to get his point across. The gardener said, hey, I understand your point. If it wasn't for the seed and the soil and the miracle of the seasons and the sunshine and the rain, he said, certainly there wouldn't be any garden here. But he said, you know, you should have seen this place a few years ago when God had it all by himself. I like that part. And the reason is because we do have a part to play to help work our own miracle. And I hope that the things I've shared with you today has given you a little better insight into how to work these miracles for your own life. Goodbye. God bless. Thank you for being here today. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.